Now, I'll first introduce myself to all of you. I am Pulkit Chaudhary, a lawyer by profession with extensive experience over civil, criminal, matrimonial, as well as commercial litigation. And from the past few years, I have been dealing with data protection and privacy aspect. And presently, I'm working as a data protection officer at India. So it's a India-based company which is dealing and providing SaaS solutions to telcos across the globe. And here I ensure that the organization is compliant with data privacy laws that are applicable to us all across the globe. So moving further, the first part of the presentation is to get started how to make career into the data privacy, what approach needs to be followed, and what needs to be done on the individual part and as well as the professional part. So we'll get started with it. So I'll start off with the quote that opportunity don't happen, you create them, and don't wait for an opportunity, create it. Since all of you have joined into this webinar on this Sunday evening, so I think this is the very first step towards which shows your inclination towards learning about the new field. So this is the very first step of grabbing the opportunity. So thank you so much for joining in, and let's get started onto the topic. So I would start with the very basic of the thing that the very first criteria of being you can say being a person who is trying to get into the data privacy field is understand the basic of the field. So the very first key is to learn the regulation, learn the different laws that are there that are applicable to you, be it GDPR, be it CCPA, be it DPDPA. So DPDPA is the legislation that has came into force very recently last year in the month of August 2023. But before that, India was, you can say, dealing with this privacy compliances issues, which were not, which were not very significant, significantly being dealt with under the IT Act and the other laws that were already in force. But DPDPA being a special legislation or data protection altogether opens up the doors for young privacy professionals and already all the lawyers who are already working into the different fields like IP law, contractual law, or maybe litigation. So this is something that has opened the doors and this has brought in many of the opportunities for all of us. So, I mean, GDPR is one of the benchmark legislation, and all the other laws are derived from, you can say, the principles and the clauses that governs the GDPR. So, the very first thing, the basic is to go through, you can say, the laws, the bare acts, and various articles, blogs, familiar yourself with the concepts that are existing in the laws. For example, if we talk about the GDPR, so there are certain principles which are known as seven principles of GDPR. So it starts from lawfulness, fairness, and transparency, and purpose limitation, storage limitation. So when you go across and research about the topics yourself, so you will get a broad idea what principles are there who are governing the data privacy. What principle constitutes the ambit of this broad domain of data privacy. So I think learning the basics is the key from which you can get started with your journey into this data privacy domain. And moving forward, so the second step is the knowledge alone is not necessary. It is very important to get some credibility as well. So in order to ensure that as an at an individual level, you should get some credibility. So I would definitely recommend you should go for the recognized certification. So the firstly and the very, you can say, the common and the prevalent and trending certification that is on data privacy that is available in the market is CIPPE. So CIPP stands for Certified Information Privacy Professional. E stands for Europe. So this is for Europe, and similarly, like CIPPE, there are various exams for various jurisdictions. There is CIPP US for USA. There is CIPPA for Asian countries like India, Singapore, and you can say the Middle East countries. And then there is CIPM certification. So CIPM is basically recommended for the people at the managerial role. So what kind of strategies have to be deployed into the infrastructure, how the privacy has to be managed, so that CIPM exams deal with that particular aspect of, you can say, the privacy compliances. Third one is the CIPT, This is Certified Information Privacy Technologist. So this particular certification deal with the technical aspect of privacy. So for example, there are certain technical measures which we deploy in order to keep our data safe. So the very first and the very common thing is the password protection that we deploy onto our desktops or maybe mobile phones and other daily use devices. And apart from that, there are other technical things that needs to be, you can say, as a privacy professional, you need to take care of. Like there are certain security techniques like encryption. So these are some of the, you can say, technical things that you need to learn about, and that are very extensively covered in the CIPT exam. And formal education is, of course, a very important factor where if you want to start a journey. So a degree in law, or cybersecurity, or a diploma, or maybe a master's, that definitely adds to your credibility. Now, there is a very interesting thing that I'm about to speak, you can say. So I would recommend everyone not to jump onto these kind of certification that I have mentioned here. The reason being, firstly, these certifications, you can say these require an extensive preparation on your end, reading through the books and all the blogs and you can say the resources that are readily available in order to clear these kind of exams. And secondly, these exams are very costly and it costs around somewhere around 50 to 60,000 rupees per exam for one attempt. So that's why that's the main reason that I don't want to recommend everyone this exam in the very beginning. Even if you want to take this up, so there is no issue in that as well. But I would recommend to start off with some, you can see, the basic exams, be it on LinkedIn Learning or maybe on Udemy or various other platforms which provides a certificate in order to have a basic understanding about what privacy is, what data protection is, and how the things work in the real life scenario. So this can be the starting point, followed by the certifications based upon your interest or your jurisdiction in which you want to opt for or you want to apply for the job. All right. Moving further, the third step is to develop legal and technical skill. I mean, for a legal personnel, it's not very difficult to interpret the laws, and the laws of the land almost in every country are more or less the same. And there is one, you can say, the suggestion that if you read through the GDPR and you get a good and strong understanding of the GDPR, so data privacy laws of all other countries can be significantly covered in that particular thing, because 70 to 80% laws are related to GDPR and derive their inspiration from GDPR only. Since GDPR is the benchmark legislation that governs the free flow of data and addressal of, you can say, the fundamental rights of privacy of all the individuals in the European Union. So, interpreting the things as a lawyer, I think it won't be a difficult job for lawyers or the law students to read through the Bear Act and get an understanding about how the things are working. So this is something that I would like to recommend, and followed by the technical knowledge, as I just discussed about the things that you need to take care of. In the CIPT exam, the several aspects of data protection part is covered. That is the technical aspect, be it data encryption, pseudonymization, data loss prevention, and there are techniques and assessments like DPIA and transfer impact assessment, and there are a variety of assessment that you do as a privacy professional in your day-to-day operations. Moving forward, there is always a need for the practical experience. So being on the legal side, so I mean, going through the Bear Act and applying that thing into, you can say, the applications or presenting it before the judiciary is altogether a different task, and which requires a different skill set, be it filing of the application, drafting of the application, and the argument. Similarly, the internship and the practical experience in the data privacy domain is very important. So at the entry level roles or the internships, these are some of the, you can say, basic things at the very beginning of the career that you can do in order to get some practical exposure. And since the scenario is India is also changing after coming up of this DPDP Act, so many of the companies are coming up with internship opportunities as well as, you can say, the jobs at the entry level. And apart from that, you can go through the projects and the case studies that are readily available on, you can say, Google. So, for example, if you go through the Bare Act of EU, or you can say you can go through the Bare Act of the GDPR, and you learn about how the DPIAs are conducting, what is record of processing activity. So you go through that particular Bare Act and you read thoroughly through the clause. And in case you get any confusion, so you can refer to certain blogs or articles that are readily available on Google, written by different privacy professionals, and you can have a broad level of understanding how the things are working in different scenarios. Followed by that, there are certain documentation by various companies, like their impact assessment and record of processing activities, that have been uploaded by certain companies on the Google only. So wherein you can get an idea of how the document pertaining to DPIA or a ROPA looks like. So you can go through the document as well, and you can check the document that what kind of processing activities they are doing, what kind of personal data attributes they are collecting, what is the purpose of each personal data attribute, and how the data is being stored, how it is being transferred, how the data is being deleted. So this will give you an idea about the whole information life cycle, that is how the data is being handled by, you can say, the big companies across the globe. So this is something that you can start off in order to get a taste of how the data privacy and compliances works in the real life scenario. And accordingly, if that thing interests you, so you can definitely reach out to some of the industry experts through networking, or you can say your references or connection, and they can surely guide you. Moving forward, the next thing is to stay updated with the laws and regulations. So since the Indian DPDP Act came into force last year, and followed by that, there are certain discrepancies in the act, and the law is not very clear on certain aspects. For example, like in case of data transfer, as mentioned under Section 16 of the TPDP Act, the law is not clear, and law has not mentioned the adequate countries where the data can be transferred freely. And for that particular thing, we are still waiting for the rules, which may be notified by the government, maybe by end of this month, or maybe next month, or maybe by end of this year. And things are taking up a great pace, and I think the government will not be delaying it up till the next year. So we can expect the rules to be notified anytime soon. And on the same lines, you can say broad understanding of what the DPDP Act says, what the preamble says, how the sections are looking like, what the rules will look like, and how rules are correlating with each particular section of the Indian Data Privacy Act. So this is something that you can do. And in case of any doubts, there are certain articles available on various topics of the Data Privacy Act of India on the Google that you can refer to. And of course, you can join professional networks. You can engage with privacy professional via LinkedIn, or there are certain, you can say, offline events that are conducted by various organizations from time to time. That can surely help you. I mean, that will surely give you a kind of projection of how to get started with things, and what can be the next steps that will help you to be, you can say, in a better position than today. So that is definitely that can you can opt for in your privacy journey. And the last thing, and in the first you can say chapter, is showcase your expertise. So whatever you read through the blogs, whatever you read through the Bare Act, whatever you read through the rules or other regulations, be it Indian law or be it some other law, just start, you can say, summarizing what you have learned, or what you have derived differently from the article that you have just read, and if there are any differences in the thoughts, or if there are any criticism, just share your thought, write articles, post pertaining to data privacy issues, and post them on LinkedIn or maybe other professional platforms, and increase your engagement with various stakeholders or the industry experts, so that really grabs the attention of the recruiter or maybe the industry experts who are looking forward to engage with certain data privacy professionals at the young age, or who are just starting with their career in data privacy. And whenever you have a certain command over the subject, then you can definitely participate in the conferences or the webinars to, you can say, or develop yourself as a, you can say, uh, as a, I would say, the token of self branding, I would say this will surely help you to create a kind of brand into the market. And these things are gradual in nature, and these are time consuming things that usually take time, but at the end of the day you are definitely going to taste the success. Now, so moving on to the second part of the conversation is the benefits of this data privacy industry. So, high demand for professionals. So, I would like to draw an analogy between data privacy and the legal profession. With all due respect for the legal profession and being from the legal background, but there is something that is known as demand and supply. If you talk about any ordinary, you can say, legal side of affairs, if we talk about the litigation, so there is a data that says that every year across around you can say 1 lakh to 5 lakh advocates enroll themselves with the Bar Council of India and their respective state bar councils. So what I am trying to convey is that the demand on the ordinary legal side is very less, and the kind of supply that is being generated is very huge. So that's the thing, that if you talk about the legal industry, there are some you can say advocates. With all due respect, there are some seniors who are charging across you can say 1 lakh to 5 lakh per hearing, and there are some you can say lawyers who are not that privileged, who are charging 500 to 1,000 rupees per day. So the thing I'm trying to convey is the kind of demand and supply. So in the litigation side of thing, I would very frankly say that the demand is low and the supply is very high. Similarly, if we talk about the data privacy field, the supply of the data privacy professionals in the industry is very low, but the demand is very high. With the regulations that have just passed, like GDPR, CCPA, and the Indian DPDP Act is there. So a lot of job opportunities have opened, and this I'm not saying this is totally based upon the experience and the data that is readily available on the Google across various you can say global platforms or the website that provide insights on these kind of demand and supply pertaining human resource industry. So even otherwise, you can check yourself on LinkedIn or maybe other Naukri or any other you can say job portals. That if you simply type data privacy job openings, and you can see hundreds and thousands of jobs that are there. So I would recommend everyone to check that on your own, do your own research, and assess what kind of opportunity is being generated in the privacy job market. And secondly, the important factor is the job security. Since it is in the very high demand, so job security is always there. And I have seen some companies who are hiring professionals even knowing that they don't have too much experience into the data privacy, but they are very eager and they are very committed to learn about data privacy. So the companies are, you can say, are now coming up with a career change program as well. So irrespective of your previous experience or the journey, if you are interested in data privacy and you are putting in a considerable effort to sharpen your skills, so the companies are giving such professionals a chance as well. And there is no need to worry that I don't have any prior, you can say, data privacy experience and how to get started with things. There are a lot of opportunities in the market. You just have to focus yourself and align yourself with the opportunities that are existing in the market. And there is a fun fact that according to 2023 ICASA study, 58% of the organization are understaffed in the privacy roles, with a major shortage of trained privacy professionals needed to meet expanding global regulations. So, I mean, most of the countries, and more, I would say more than 150 countries across the globe now have data privacy regulations, and the demand is increasing day by day. So data privacy is one aspect, and you all might be aware that the trend of artificial intelligence is also booming in today's industry, and artificial intelligence is also correlated to data privacy. So with the time and the development in the technology, the scope of data privacy is increasing day by day, and consequently the demand for privacy professionals is also increasing. So I think this is something that you can look forward to as an opportunity for yourself, and you can make your own action plans accordingly and work around it. Moving forward, So it will also give you a versatility, or you can say the cross industry experience. So even if you are into the litigation, the data privacy gives you a taste of how the things work into the compliances side. Even if you want to stick to your litigation part and don't want to switch into data privacy altogether, but you can have, you can say, a taste of data privacy just by learning the fundamentals. And you can also opt for a career on the litigation side of data privacy. Reason being that since Data Privacy Act of India is already in place, that is the DPDP Act, but the proceedings under that particular law will be governed by the Code of Civil Procedure. So the technical person or an engineer who has experience of data privacy cannot present a case or plead before the Data Protection Board of India, who is empowered to take the enforcement action in case of data breaches. So this is also a kind of opportunity that you can look into. And this is a vast domain. And it's not limited just to India. And this can be a global opportunity. So since I have just mentioned before that I mean, majority of the legislation, privacy legislations across the world have derived their inspiration from GDPR only. So once you are thorough with GDPR and you learn the basics of data privacy, then you can work around on the data privacy law of any jurisdiction, from where your maybe the project comes in, or where you are deployed as an individual consultant from a company side. So that can be managed easily. But you have to be thorough with the concepts and the legal clauses of the law of the land, which is applicable to you, your organization, or your client. Moving forward, data privacy helps you to get a rapid career advancement, high growth potential this field has, and within a short span of time and with right skills and certification, you can rise very quickly in terms of, you can say, your ranking with the company as well as the compensation. So the new regulations bring in the new roles. So since the data privacy laws are also evolving, and they are also coming up with the new opportunities and specialized roles and responsibilities, and you can say a specialized job post altogether. So I'll give you an example that under the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of India, there is a concept known as consent manager. So consent manager is a person who manages consent of data principals like you and me. So for example, we have given certain data to Mintra. So for any kind of online shopping. So let's say I have given my name Pulkit, my mobile number, as well as my email ID, so that I can contact them or they can contact me, and I can track my orders accordingly. But now there, whenever you registered yourself, so there are certain checkbox that come in. So they want you to agree to certain terms and conditions, and they want you to agree and tick on the box which says that we want to send you the marketing emails. So if I haven't ticked on send me the marketing emails, but still Mintra is sending me the marketing emails without my consent because I have specifically opted out for that particular tick box. In that particular thing, my consent has been breached, and I can bring an action against them into the Data Protection Board of India. So now DPDP Act has came up with the role of consent manager. So consent manager is someone who is responsible for managing consent on behalf of data, you can say data principal, that is me, you, and anyone who is sharing their data with Mitra. So what data consent so what the consent managers do is, whenever you give consent for marketing activities, they will create a unique ID of your consent against your name, along with the log that at what particular date or time you have provided your consent. And once you have given your consent, you always have the right to withdraw your consent. So you can simply either write to the consent manager that I want to withdraw my consent and I don't want to be bothered by this marketing emails. So that consent manager will simply, you can say, do his part of things into their own systems, and you will not receive any kind of marketing email. So this is something that is the role of consent manager, and this is the new post that has been or created altogether by this new Digital Personal Data Protection Act of India, that is not under the GDPR or not under any other law. So with the new laws and regulations, the new roles are also coming up, which are expanding the horizon of opportunities that are coming into the market. Now, moving forward, that being a data privacy professional helps you to engage with cutting edge technology. So it's not only limited to data privacy, it's also related to AI, blockchain, big data, so that you can integrate privacy into any of the infrastructure that comes your way. You always get a chance to work across different sectors, be it SaaS company, be it aviation sector, or be it educational institute, be it an e-commerce platform that we just discussed, like a Mintra. And there is another concept that is known as privacy by design. So privacy by design is something that a company needs to deploy into the very first stage. I mean, if I'll give you an example, because this is a technical concept, and I would recommend you to read this onto the Google after this webinar, and whenever you find any time. So privacy by design is a concept when, for example, if the software is being developed, so we want to create that software uh, with that particular aspect, that even if me as a user, I don't do anything to protect my privacy, the software is capable enough to protect my privacy on its own. So as discussed about the consent example of Mintra, so it should be like, whenever I'm registering myself onto the Mintra portal or any other shopping platform, so the check boxes in India, what I have seen is the check boxes are automatically ticked beforehand only by default. But what GDPR and the data privacy law says is, you do not send any kind of marketing email, or any kind of, do not use the data for any other purpose unless that particular purpose has been specifically opted in by the user. So this is how the privacy by design thing works like. And even if I'm a consultant or I'm a DP of my organization, and my organization is creating a kind of platform for telecom companies, so I make sure that the marketing portion of, you can say, the check boxes are turned off by default unless the user opts in for it. And even if the user is opting in, so I'll ensure that the logs of that particular consent are being created, uh, I mean, for both the things, when the consent is being given and when the consent is being withdrawn. So this is something that is done at the privacy by design stage. So this is a very elaborate topic that needs a separate webinar altogether. So that can be discussed sometime later, but I would surely recommend you to go through these particular concepts that we are discussing right now. Moving further, the data protection or privacy laws give you a unique skill set, and it helps you in policy creation and help you to develop your skills in a different horizon altogether. So reason being that nowadays what I have seen is there is a trend that is changing within the organization. So the companies are moving on for the multitaskers as opposed to a person having a single skill set. So if I talk about combining the legal and the data privacy field, so most of the organizations are now looking for a person who has a command over legal things like contracts, or you can say the litigation aspect, commercial litigation, and you can say the agreements like NDA, MSA. There is some concept of, you can say, the contract known as privacy law as data processing agreement, that provides an arrangement between two parties that how the personal data will be processed. So the companies are nowadays approaching and calling out for the candidates who are good at not only just at interpreting the data privacy laws, but also you can say good at negotiation of contracts, be it the privacy contract or be it any other contract like NDA, since NDA is also something which pertains to, you can say, governance of confidential information, which also includes the personal information in majority of the cases. So, I mean, having a privacy skill set alongside your general skill set will always give you an added advantage. And let's assume a situation where there are two candidates. One is only skilled at data privacy, and other is skilled at both legal and data privacy. So the company is definitely going to go with the person who has both the skills. So the idea to highlight here is that even if you are very niche at, you can say, your particular area of expertise or your area of practice, you can definitely take this as a secondary option, and that will definitely be become an added advantage for you, be it your you can say whether you are doing your own consultancy or you are looking for a job or anything. Now, part three, I would like to discuss certain things about career insights and the demand that is being generated in the privacy market, along with the compensation that are being paid at the various levels. So, as discussed earlier, there is a huge resource crunch in the data privacy market where there is a high demand and short supply. As you can see here that the record increase in the demand for privacy professionals in 2024, wherein it says that uh, the demand is increasing day by day since new laws are coming up. And apart from the new laws, there are certain new emerging concepts like artificial intelligence, blockchains that we have just discussed. And robotics is also something that is coming up, and that is a very trending field. Because all of these kind of fields, so if we take example of AI is something that cannot work without data, be it personal data, be it non-personal data. But majority of the input that is being, you can say, inserted into the AI models or the training models is personal data only. And even if the lesser amount of personal data is being infused into the AI models, the compliance also has to be there. Even if there is a one single email or the name attribute that is being processed by any company, so there is always a need of data privacy compliance. Secondly, I would like to read this complete paragraph. Data privacy professionals are in high demand. So what I would like to highlight here is data privacy professionals are quickly becoming some of the most in-demand professionals in the world today. A recent report from the recruitment company True Staffing Partners has found a 30% increase in the data privacy jobs due to a combination of rise into the remote work. But now I think the remote work is not the case that is there, since most of the offices are calling the employees. So just give me a moment. Screen is okay. Now, uh, now I would like to read the second part, which is very interesting. In addition to there not being enough data privacy professionals, the report also found the shortage of you can say the privacy professional with right qualifications. So there is always a demand, there is some bit of supply that is being given to the companies. There are certain people who are opting in for you can say data privacy field and doing certain kind of certification and acquiring skill set. But there is a shortage of professionals with right kind of qualifications or maybe the right kind of skill set, I would say. So I think the second line of you can say this particular paragraph, this is something that you all can see as an opportunity that even if there are certain privacy professionals in the market that you see as your competition, but whether that particular person has a right skill set or not, that is still a matter of concern. And you can definitely see this as an opportunity to acquire a right skill set and then move forward into your career with adequate skill set and accordingly secure a job or maybe some consulting company that you want to open. So anyhow, if in whatever way it works best for you. Now, this is the industry comparison I would like to show to all of you. So the first thing is market capital. The legal industry in India stands at 10,000 crore rupees, and whereas the global industry is 1,000 billion approximate. Whereas the data privacy industry stands at 1,500 crores at the present moment, but it will, you can say, significantly and it will increase rapidly over the next couple of years since the DPDP is already in force. The rules are going to be notified anytime soon. And after the rules are notified, all the organizations processing personal data will be given a certain kind of timeline, maybe 6 months or 1 year, in order to comply with the legislation. Post that timeline, there will be, you can say, the enforcement which will get started and penalty will be imposed upon the organizations in India, whoever are in breach of their commitments with their user. And the penalties here are up to 250 crore rupees. And that is a huge sum as far as the Indian legal scenario is concerned. So you can definitely see this as a golden opportunity. whereas global market of data privacy stands at $100 billion. So that is again a huge amount. So I would like to next on the next step, I would like to discuss upon the entry level salaries on the legal side as well as the data privacy side. So on the legal side, if we see the entry at salary at the entry level ranges from 3 lakhs to 8 lakhs in India, and at the global level it's 50,000 USD to 70,000 USD. Whereas in data privacy domain, the entry point of salary is at 6 lakhs, which can be reached up to 10 lakhs depending upon your qualifications, experience, and the relevant skill set that you possess. So you can see a difference of almost 100% of a salary in these two scenarios. As the level increases, so salary also increases proportionately. Whereas in the on the legal side, it's still much lesser than the data privacy side of the things. It's eight for a mid-level person, mid-level professional. Salary range is somewhere around 8 to 15 lakhs, whereas under data privacy, it's 12 to 18 lakhs. At the senior level, it's 15 to 25 on the legal side and 20 to 35 on the privacy side. This is for India only. And mark my words, this data privacy field is not limited to India. You can have n number of opportunities from any part of the world, but the only reason, the only condition, or the only prerequisite is that you have to be very thorough with the concepts as well as you can say the skill set, including the practical approach of getting the things done. Now, continuing with the discussion, the salaries at the director, partner, or a VP level stands at 25 to 50 lakhs in the legal industry, and for privacy industry, it's again 30 to 50 lakhs. And when you are a chief privacy officer of any reputed organization, so salary can range up to 40 to 60 lakhs. And from here to here, I mean, from the entry level to the CPO level, it only takes you can say 7 to 10 hours, 7 to 10 years in the data privacy industry. I'm not very sure about the legal industry, since you are all of you are from the legal industry and very well conversant with the facts of the industry. But I would say in the privacy industry, it will take you around 7 to 10 years to reach from entry level to the CPO level. That would subject to the level of effort that you are putting in to get the things done and moving towards your way. Moving further, so this is the salary range and the observation that I have done myself in the limited span of my short career into the data privacy. So there is not much difference, but this is my assessment based upon my experience into the domain. So at entry level, it's again the same. The first one remains the same. At mid level, it's 6 to 10 lakhs for legal industry and 12 to 18 for privacy industry. Senior level salaries 10 to 15 for legal and 20 to 35 is for data privacy. Director, it's 18 to 30 lakhs on the legal side, 30 to 50 on the privacy side, and then this aspect, the last one remains the same. This is the chart that I have derived from Google and based upon various stats that are available on the Google under various blogs, or you can say the articles. But this is something that I have observed on my own based upon my experience in the industry. So I would also recommend to do your own research, check for you can say the authentic data. If you want to do your own kind of research, you can go across various articles and various you can say salary insight platforms like Glassdoor or maybe Ambition Box, and there are other ninefigures.com. There are many other websites that are available that provide you a good insights on how the things are projecting into a particular domain within a particular country or maybe globally. So that totally depends upon your domain of research. Now, lastly, it comes to the action plan. So the very first thing is to read and understand privacy laws thoroughly. And I mean, all of you would say that it's a repetition of the things that we have already discussed, but again, for the sake of action plan. So this is something that I would recommend to you, you can say on a personal level as well. I mean, as much as you can read, as much as you can understand, as much as you can discuss about privacy and different legislations and peculiarity of every legislation, because each law is different from one another on certain aspects, but 70 to 80% of all the laws across the globe remains the same. So you have to identify that 20 or 30% of differences, and you have to do a kind of mastery onto it just to have a good impression on the recruiter or the client that you may be working with in your near future or maybe currently. Now, second thing is again networking, attending conferences and workshops and the webinars as well. So the webinars and the conferences that are generally happening up, and the pace of such webinars and conferences have also scaled up a lot. You can say since last few months in India. So the market is opening up gradually, and I think it's a golden opportunity for all of you to explore the data privacy market of India as well as abroad. You will definitely get a golden chance to step into this field and explore this yourself. There is no better time than now, uh, since the things are booming and government is also taking up certain initiatives and they are conducting classes as well. So the things in India are also changing, and everything is dependent on data. So you can explore this kind of field, and you can surely get a golden opportunity of working into this particular domain. And the last one is develop soft skills, communication and analytical skills. So just would like to add on that the communication and the kind of approach and the strategy on a personal level and the diplomacy that is there in the corporate world is very different from the courts and tribunals that we engage in on our daily routine. So in the corporate world, whenever you are implementing a data privacy program, so you have to discuss various things about handling of personal data with various stakeholders that are there in the company. So that thing needs a different kind of approach. You have to be soft, you have to be polite, you have to be communicative. And in case of if the things are not working your way, you have to do escalations as well. There is a proper hierarchy that is established. So these are some of the soft skills or the organizational skills that we generally don't learn at the, you can say, litigation level, because I come from that very background only. So this is how the roadmap is developed. So I would also like to share a little bit about my journey, that when I started studying about data privacy, so I had that thing in mind that I'm from the litigation background with no corporate skill set, with no corporate organization, that how will I land and how will I land into a job into the corporate domain. So what I did is I created my own plan. I created my own action plan to do things in order to land into the data privacy domain. So what I did is I created my own CV. I drafted all of the experiences that I had in the courts at various courts like district courts, high court, as and the Supreme Court, and then I made it a law firm friendly, and that CV gets shortlisted in one of the law firm based out of New Delhi only. And I joined that law firm, and I worked there onto the commercial side of things for, you can say, 4 to 5 months, and then I got the offer from this Canada company that I just spoke about in the beginning of the session. And then there I learned about certain privacy things, and whatever I was learning on my own due to from the GDPR or the articles that are available or the YouTube videos. So I started implementing them into the organization, and I got them compliant, and that boosted my confidence. And then subsequently, so from the transition from litigation to a law firm to a Canadian company, that gave me a confidence that now the things have started, and things are started the things have started moving in your way. So now you can definitely look for some privacy based companies also. So then after spending around 1 year in that Canadian company, I again acquired some of the relevant certifications, and I you can say developed my own skill set. And then I moved to a privacy based company only, the privacy consulting company. And then I joined as a data protection consultant, and after a span of 6 months I got promoted to senior data protection consultant. And within a very short span of time, so today I'm working as a data protection officer. So it's the journey that you create by your own self. taking into consideration how the things can work around in your own way. So it's not same for everyone. It may be different for every individual, because some of you might be working as a litigation lawyer, some of you might be working at a law firm, or maybe some of the multinational companies. So that totally depends upon individual to individual and the kind of approach that you need to build in order to get into a particular field or learning a particular skill set. So I would recommend you to introspect the kind of, you can say, the way out that you want to produce for yourself, and start learning, start reading, uh, do networking, attend conferences, attend webinars, catch up with people, discuss about privacy, develop your soft skills, and accordingly work around on your CVs, apply for jobs, give interviews. That will anyway increase your experience, not only on the personal side but also on the professional side. So I mean, that will surely going to help out.